Sports Phone KNBR. Sponsored by Industrial Metal Supply on the Sports Leader. Check the live stream on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
Miley, 3-1 pitch. It's ball 4! And the Giants a much-needed win. The walk-off walk. Wilmer Flores draws it. Patrick Bailey comes in to score. And the Giants beat the Cubs by the final score of 5-4. Say hey, the Giants snap their losing streak and get the win in Game 1 of this series on the night where in San Francisco for the first time we remembered Willie Mays. Giants were down 4-0 in this game and came all the way back and won it.
Welcome to Sports Phone KNBR postgame show with Bill Lasky on a Monday, and boy, did the Giants not disappoint Willie Mays' celebration. As it all started around 5:30, the gates were open early. You walked into Oracle Park. You saw a beautiful sketch, a logo behind home plate of Willie Mays with a great swing. You looked out to center field. You saw the great number 24 etched in the grass. It was perfectly planned. Just a great opportunity for Giants fans after Willie Mays passed away on Tuesday, the first game back from the road trip. That was really disappointing for the San Francisco Giants as they went 1-5 on the road trip, but came home and everybody knew what was in their lockers. Every jersey with a number 24 on the back with a patch on the front. Everything was Willie Mays today. Even the date was Willie Mays today, June 24th, 2024. The 24s had the magic today. And sure enough, in the bottom of the ninth inning, the magic came back to the San Francisco Giants as they pull out a win 5-4 on a walk to Wilmer Flores. And man, it was electric, no doubt about it. So many good things had happened in that ninth inning, from a bunt to Estrada to a sacrifice fly by Conforto and another sacrifice fly by Austin Slater, who was just lost at the plate today. Punched out 3 times, and he nailed one to center field to tie the game. Ahmed hustling to second base, intentionally to walk Ramos, but it was all set up for Wilmer Flores, and Drew Smyly could not throw strikes as he walked Wilmer Flores in for the game-winning win. And sure enough, all the 24s were on the field. It was electric. It was so spontaneous. It was so exciting. And the San Francisco Giants, for Willie Mays, pulled that game out. It was just so magical, and I think every announcer was talking about it. From Elliot Ramos going over his left shoulder to catch a ball that he misplayed, and he busted his tail back to catch it. Things were just happening. The magic was coming back, and this San Francisco Giants team needed this. This needed a punch. They were beat. They were tired, coming back from a sweep from the St. Louis Cardinals. No offense until the 5th inning when Matt Chapman hit his 9th home run. And then sure enough, in the 6th inning, Nick Ahmed hits his first home run. But the offense was still stymied. Elliot Ramos coming in, going 3 for 4 tonight. Just beautiful hits. Go to right field. Everything was planned out. But they were behind going into that 9th inning. Behind 4-2. How are they going to manage to do this? How are they going to come back? They had an opportunity in the 8th inning. They had 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, a strikeout by Flores and a fly ball by Soler, and the offense was stymied. Were they going to be able to pull this out? How are they going to do it? But sure enough, they mustered some energy. They mustered some magic, and they pulled this game out, ending the 5-game losing streak that they were on. Boy, oh boy, it was fun. It was a good game, an exciting game. They just couldn't get to Justin Steele. He was mowing them down. He went 7 1/3, only gave up 2 earned runs, and they were solo home runs. But the bullpen gave it up for the Cubs. On the other side, it was an opener. Of course, Eric Miller went out there. Give him a nice 1 inning. Picked off a guy at first base. I was cheering. Yay, they threw over to first base. They finally stopped the stolen bases. But then they turned it over to Spencer Bivens. He lasted 2 innings. And Raymond Burgos, for his first major league game, his first major league pitch. And, of course, Cody Bellinger hits a cue ball off the end of his bat right down the third base line for a base hit. A couple really infield hits that puzzled him, but he still worked out of it, only giving up 1 earned run. I really felt for the kid. He was out there throwing strikes, trying to get ahead, trying to muster a strikeout here and there. He did, but giving up only 1 earned run after he had bases loaded and nobody out. I tip my hat for that kid for his debut. Didn't look good once Luke Jackson got in there. He only went a third of an inning, giving up 3 runs. The savior of the game today? No doubt. Player of the game? No doubt. I'm giving it to Spencer Howard. As he pitched 4 2/3 innings, only giving up 4 hits. And at one time, he gives up a triple and a base hit, had first and third, nobody out and got out of it. We could even go even before that when he first came in the game, second and third with 1 out. And he punches out Bush and he punches out Nito. So well, patting him on the back. It was just a magnificent outing for Spencer Howard, who has struggled lately. When he came up, he pitched very well for the Giants. The last couple outings, he couldn't find the zone. Today, one of his best outings in the orange and black, going 4 2/3, only walking 1 and punching out 8, the most he's ever had. He threw 77 pitches, 54 for strikes. He was on. The off-speed was there. The good curveball he had was there. And he was spotting the fastball at times, and he elevated the fastball at times. Just a great outing for him, and that's what the Giants needed as they're trying to piece these first 3 games together, as they only have 2 starters in the rotation. And when you're doing that, you got to go to the bullpen. You got to get some arms, and you got to get some length out of the bullpen. So tonight, I tip my hat to Spencer Howard getting his first major league win. But the Giants did a lot today. They really battled at times. Yesterday, if you remember, they had a no-hitter going, a perfect game by Sonny Gray. They couldn't muster anything. Today, Chapman changed that with that home run in the 5th. Ahmed hit one in the 6th. But at the same time, they just couldn't get anything motoring until they got to the bullpen of the Cubs. And good things happened on Willie Mays night, number 24, as the Magic came back to Oracle, and the Giants win this game 5-4. 808 KNBR, get on the phone lines. Love to talk about Willie Mays again tonight. I did it over the weekend on Extra Innings. Really want to continue it. If you were at the game, leaving the game tonight at Oracle, love to hear what your thoughts were as the game progressed, what kind of magic you felt. And that 9th inning, were you standing? Were you nervous? Was the anxiety there? Did you think they were going to pull it out? I want to hear about it. 808 KNBR phone lines are open. We're going to take a quick break right here on Sports Phone KNBR and come right back with more right here on KNBR.
Cub Nation, dial the digits and dive in. 415-808-KNBR. Sports Phone KNBR continues right here and on the all-new KNBR app.
Well, we all got to wear number 24, so that's pretty cool. And then all the stuff pregame, certainly gets you attention. We've been thinking about this all week, and finally win a game, for him. Whether it was Rickwood or whatever, we had trouble winning games, during his tributes. So it was good to be able to do it at home here.
All right, back on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky. It is a Monday. It's June 24th of 2024. The magic of number 24 was all into Oracle Park, as you heard Bob Melvin. Every player, every coach had that jersey on, number 24. It wasn't worn for 52 years. That's when Willie Mays wore it last. 52 years ago that number was worn on a baseball field, and today it was honored by the entire team. It was etched into center field grass, a nice logo behind home plate. The statue was just filled with flowers and so many great memories from people. And today, the Giants didn't disappoint. They came back and won the game 5-4. All right, let's get to the phone lines. Got a full flock of calls. Let's go to Big Sam. You were at the game. Sam, tell me about the magic you saw tonight.
Hey, my man, how is everything doing? Let's first off start off with saying you're doing an amazing job, and I really appreciate you taking the phone call from me, Bill.
Sam, you're my man. Come on, talk to me about that magic you saw tonight, because it wasn't looking good when they were down 4-0, but I guess when you were walking out of Oracle, you had a smile on your face.
I'm going to tell you, I had my buddy, my cousin with me, and we had decent seats a little bit up above the club, and I choked up. I'm almost 50 years old, and, I teared a little bit, watching
Beautiful.
all the
emotions, man. The emotions, they're everywhere, Sam. It wasn't just you. It was everywhere in that ballpark. Everybody that was watching the game at home, and you heard Dave Fleming talk about it, and he got emotional. I mean, it was an emotional time for the fans, because this was the first time that they got to celebrate a little bit of what Willie Mays was all about at the ballpark.
Look, I think leaving the park, I can look up in the sky and make the sign of the cross. And I said, you know what, Willie gave us this one, because fans are frustrated. We're amongst, our area where we're seated, and, it was quiet, like nothing going on.
I know.
And until Chapman hit the home run, and, we're out getting some food, and, we were walking around the park after being up in our area, and I'm like, okay, let's get this started. And, I'm hopeful, Bill.
Sure.
And I don't, very optimistic. I've been watching this team since '79. We want to see our city do well. This is a 10-year anniversary of the 2014 World Series. So we want to get back on top. And the key has always been get in the tournament, win 85 games.
Still got a ways to go, though, Sam. We still got a ways to go. This team's got to clean up a lot of stuff. The stolen bases got to get better. The offense with runners in scoring position. I have hope just like you, but we have to see some kind of changes.
And except for yesterday, I was coming back from an event, and I was at the Lake Merced golf club, and who pulls up behind me is Mr. Bear. And I didn't want to say mine. With all due respect, hello, Mr. Bear. Nice to see you, Mr. Bear. And you know me, I'm not afraid to say anything, but, my family taught me well to play.
When to talk and when not to, right, Sam?
Hey, look, I think we definitely need this homestand. I mean, if it's like you win one, you lose one, and then you creep up and you creep up.
That's
and
right.
then you're losing 5 straight.
You know what? One game gives you motivation to the next one, Sam, and that's what this is doing. This is what it did for this team. It brought them back together. It brought them life, a little celebration in the clubhouse. But, Sam, I just want to thank you. Got a whole list of phone calls, but we'll talk
really
again, my friend.
You, Bill.
Yep.
That's my time. I'll talk to you again. This is
Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for the call. Really do.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's go to Don in San Francisco. Don, you're on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky. How you doing tonight? A little excited about that win?
Yeah, I thought like they were going to lose. You know, we had a sad week this week. I was very sad when Willie Mays passed away, you know.
Sure, a lot of people were, and today was the
sad.
first step that we're going to heal. And I think what the Giants did before the game, number 24 was sure thrown out there, and it was definitely a great honor.
Well, I know. I just hope they just can, when they start coming back, you know, to half the season, I just hope they have to get on the winning streak. That's what my concern is right now. You know.
Yeah, that's the only way we're going to salvage this season, Don. No doubt about it. And these games like this give you motivation. It gives you another eye tomorrow to watch the game. It starts at 6:45 tomorrow. The starting staff's beat up pretty well. They're going to have to put Band-Aids on this bullpen and get through it. But at the same time, they're fighting. They scratched tonight. The bunt by Estrada was beautiful. And sure enough, the walk to Flores won the game, and excitement came. And I think this team needed that.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bill.
Don, it's always great hearing from you. I appreciate your call. Let's go to Peter. Peter, you were at the game today. Tell me what the magic you saw.
Oh, my God, Bill. Telling you, what a week.
Little goosebumps today. Little goosebumps in that ninth inning when it got it going. You know, Chapman hustles into second with a pop-up that they almost caught, and then the bunt by Estrada. I keep bringing that up because that was beautifully bunted, beautifully put down to third base line, and with his speed, he beat it out. First and third, nobody out. Did you think they were coming back?
Oh, I felt it. And you know, they do win the ninth inning quite often, especially at home.
Yeah, they've been coming
back
a lot late games. They sure have. They've had that magic coming in. They just couldn't get enough on that road trip. As they went 1-5 in that road trip, they just couldn't muster enough runs.
Bill, they were 0 for Willie.
That's right.
For Willie on that
Good point.
trip.
It's a great point.
And it was breaking my heart. I cried a lot this week. You know, I became a Giants fan in 1960 when we moved to San Jose from Indiana. And let me tell you, Willie Mays was my hero.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the Giants, and I loved Willie Mays and what he stood for. And he was an ambassador to baseball, and he was the Giants.
He sure was. He was Mr. Baseball. You know, every time you talk to him, every time you listen to him, it was all about baseball or kids. He loved the kids. He loved talking baseball to kids. He gave everything he had to kids. That's one thing I always remember about him.
Yeah. I never got to meet him, but I sure love hearing all the stories, all the fans that got to meet him in person. You know, I haven't heard one bad thing about Willie Mays.
I don't think you ever will, Peter. I don't think you will, because he was such a glamorous man to people. He was proud. He was honored. He gave you that firm handshake, looked in your eyes when he talked to you. And most of the time, you know, when you got to meet him, he'd remember your name. And, of course, being an ex-player, we saw him in the clubhouse in spring training as well as Candlestick when I was back at the Stick. And he was always gracious to us. He was always kind to us. He was always wanting to talk about you as the player, not about him. Where are you from? What did you do? Things like that. And it was just magnificent just sitting there listening to talk. And I used to just sit there and be in awe of him.
Yeah, listen. Hey, Bill, did you ever throw batting practice or, you know, whatever you call it to some fantasy players?
Many times. Many of those fantasy camp things, the BPs out at the ballpark, I did a lot of that. Yeah, I still do that.
Yeah, because, you know, my family, we got season tickets, so we were out at, they called it an MVP.
I remember that, sure.
Yeah. And I I got a single off you.
Beautiful. I'm so glad you did.
And the next time up, you threw me a curveball and you said, "Where was that?"
The equalizer, right, Peter? I had to throw you the equalizer to think about twice about getting that base hit off me.
You did. You remembered me. I dug in and you threw me a curveball and I looked stupid.
Well, Peter, great memories. I appreciate the call tonight. Great memories, and keep Willie Mays in your heart because he was one great Giant.
Always. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for the call. Really good stuff right there. And as Bob Melvin said, the Magic Aware number 24. And as I said, 52 years ago, number 24 was worn, and it hasn't been worn since then. And today, the Giants did another great job. They do these celebrations so well. Having every player, every coach have number 24 on their uniform, standing on the third base line, watching all the ceremonies, watching the celebration of life of Willie. And then even at the park when you walked in Oracle tonight to see the logo of that swing behind home plate. And then if you could look out to center field, I thought it was so cool to see the number 24 etched in the grass. Just so many cool things to remember Willie Mays today. But the best, as you're hearing from these callers that were coming from the game, the best was the Magic in the bottom of the ninth, a walk-off walk to win the game. It was cool. I really enjoyed that game. All right, let's get back to the callers. Let's go to Don in Marin County. Don, you're on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky on a Monday.
Hey, thank you. What I really want to
Don.
focus on, because everybody has fulfilled what I'm thinking and feeling starting back last Tuesday, is being out there on the field tonight and knowing that every player coming up to the plate with 24 on their back was going to do it, was going to bring it. And this is one of the best, most fulfilling broadcasts I've heard on KNBR for like ever. And I was hearing the game from the eighth inning on, driving home from work out of the city and wishing I'd gone to the ballpark. But what was it like to know?
I wasn't at the game. I'm hearing it from the crowd. I watched it at home just like everybody else did, and what the magic that I saw was all the fans were getting into it. It was quiet at first. Of course, they didn't even get a hit. They got one hit in the first inning, but they were stymied for 4 innings. And sure enough, Chapman hits a home run, and it kind of woke them up a little bit. But the ninth inning had that magic. The eighth inning, they had opportunities, second and third, one out. But the ninth inning was when it all just took off. And it just seemed like it was going to happen. You know, you were sitting there going, there's something happening tonight. There's something going to do something in this ninth inning. And I'll tell you, a couple great walks. Ahmed made a great at-bat in the ninth inning, watching the ball. This ball's right off the edge, right underneath his knees. It was just a fantastic walk. Nick Ahmed played a great game today, hit his first home run. And I really felt today he had 2 walks in. He had one in the 8th and one in the 9th. And those pitches were an inch out, inch below his knee, inch in. He was perfect. He really was an outstanding at-bats right there by Nick Ahmed.
And a walk-off walk.
For Wilmer Flores, of all people. The guy swings at everything, and he walked it, man. And I tell you, Drew Smiley wasn't real happy. There was a couple tight pitches. He was barking a little bit, but it wasn't going to happen. That zone today, the whole game was a tight zone. There was many pitches missed on both sides, but it was a tight zone the whole game. So he kept it through the 9th inning, which I thought was very professional of him.
As did the fans. We all believed because number 24 was going to pull it off.
He did, and he certainly did. And like I started today, I was telling my producer, Cole, today's Monday, June 24th, 2024. How magical is that? But appreciate the call, Don. Thanks for the call. Thanks for a few memories, and I appreciate the excitement you had, even listening on the radio. It's a good call. All right, let's go out to Jonathan. Jonathan was at Oracle today. Tell me what you saw tonight, Jonathan.
Hi, Bill. I've got a story, with all due respect to all these other Giants fans, I've got a story that makes this storybook.
I'm listening. I'm listening, and so many other fans are listening. So you got the stage, Jonathan. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So I love the Giants. I've lived in the Bay Area a long time. I was born here, but I grew up for many years in Broward County, Florida. I lived 15 minutes from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. I lived 15 minutes from the Florida Panthers arena. So when the news from Willie Mays came out a few nights ago, I was watching the Panthers game, and we were down a goal when ABC broke the news. And I was starting to think the worst. I was watching us collapse. I recorded Game 7 tonight. I didn't want to know. The Cubs start bringing those runs in, and all of a sudden I hear a few fans whispering, and I hear the voice of an angel by the name of Willie Mays whispering that the Florida Panthers, a team I've been rooting for since I was 10 years old, won the Stanley Cup for the first time in franchise history. I didn't want to believe it. I thought it can't be true. I'm going to go home, watch this game, and I'm going to hate myself. And then the comeback starts, and the Giants get those 2 home runs in the 5th and 6th, and then the 9th inning, and then I see a couple things on my phone, and I had to ask when I called in because something just felt right. Bear in mind, again, I love the Giants, but I live in the East Bay.
Sure.
I root for the A's. I'm a diehard, long-suffering Marlins fan. I know what pain is like.
But you know what? You know sports, you know emotion, you know thrilling moments, and I think that's what Giant fans, as well as all sport fans, love. They love that emotion of the game.
Yeah, and if Willie Mays had any part in this, in not only bringing the Giants back and a win that gives me a winning June. I have a winning record right now. I'm 6-5, but and I've seen some painful Marlins losses at the Coliseum a month ago. I know they're still coming here, and I'm going to be here for that.
Good.
Unapologetically rooting against the Giants then, but nonetheless, if Willie Mays played any part in making my childhood dream come true, I will never, ever forget this and ever forget him.
Beautiful, Jonathan. And you got to believe in the spirit of Willie Mays. You got to believe in things like that because that's the internal love that we have for people. That's the internal love that we believe in. And, Jonathan, I thank you for the call. Keep that magic going in your life and keep being a fan. That's what we want to be. But thanks so much, Jonathan. Thanks for your call and thanks for your story. Appreciate your time. More phone calls coming up on Sports Phone KNBR. Got to take a quick break. Got a few on hold. We've got a few lines that are open at 808 KNBR. Alex Simon from the San Francisco Gate will be joining me later in the show. But right now we're taking calls. If you were at the game, 808 KNBR, love to hear what you saw at the game, their emotion at the end of the game, and, of course, any Willie Mays stories you have, I'm listening. I'm Bill Lasky. This is Sports Phone KNBR. More coming up right here.
This is Sports Phone KNBR. Dial the digits or send us a text at 415-808-KNBR. We're streaming on YouTube all damn day at KNBR 1045.
Yeah, well, I heard you guys talking about it. We did have to win. We had to win this game for Willie. We dropped the ball when we were in Birmingham, so we really wanted to win that game for him. So to come back tonight and be able to do that against a really good pitcher on the mound and come back and win that game felt really good. We've been scuffling a little bit. We needed that, but to do it for Willie, that was amazing.
All right, back on Sports Phone KNBR on a Monday, June 24, 2024. That's right, that number 24 keeps coming up today. And, of course, Matt Chapman went 2 for 4, so flip those around, and it's a 24. But one of the things Matt Chapman said, he talked about Justin Steele there, and he really threw a good game. Coming into the game today, Justin Steele didn't give up a home run for 24 2/3 innings. Think about that. 24 2/3, didn't give up a home run. He didn't give up 1. He gave up 2 tonight, and that was 2 that they needed. The Giants were down 4-0. They came back 4-2. Going into the 8th, they had 2nd and 3rd, couldn't get them in. The 9th inning, 3 runs scored, 2 sac flies, 1 by Conforto, 1 by Slater, and, of course, the walk Smiley gave, and Flores took it and took the win. On a walk-off win for Willie Mays on Willie Mays night on Monday, June 24th. All right, let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Andrea in Berkeley. Andrea, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Bill. I love all the cosmic synchronicities, and I love that you mentioned 624.
Yeah.
24.
You got to keep those 24s going, and I'm probably missing a couple more, Andrea, so I'm figuring you might have another number 24 to throw at me.
Well, what's interesting, Chapman went 2 for 4, like you said, and a Giants fan on Twitter said maybe the Giants should wear 24 the rest of the season. I thought that was pretty...
I'll put my hand up.
Right?
I thought it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. When you think about it, 52 years ago, Andrea,
right.
52 years ago, that was the last time you saw number 24 on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little farther than you and I can go, Andrea.
There you go.
We finally got one on there, Andrea. You keep throwing those dates at me and the years of these players, and right. I finally got one on you, Andrea. 52 years ago.
Right. No, I like that because all the youngins like that. Incredible basket catch that Helio Ramos did, the over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder, yeah. He really, wow. To tell you the truth, he broke in wrong. He came in on that ball, and then his speed and the overcatch. I thought it was just so perfect for tonight, and yes. Elliott is playing so well in center field. Mm-hmm. And who thought he was a center fielder? Everybody thought he was a corner outfielder, and he has maintained center field, and I don't think he's had one bad break on a ball. He's gone left side, right side, a couple balls that were hit over his head, but some of those balls were smoked. But I thought he's played very, very solid outfield so far.
Yes, and he made that key over-the-shoulder catch. He just channeled Willie Mays.
Yeah.
So,
3 for 4 tonight, too, Andrea. Right. You got to look at that offense. He was scuffling a little bit in St. Louis. He took 0 for 9 for the last 2 games, came back today. His swing was better. He was on a lot of pitches, fouled off a lot of balls. But going back for 3 for 4, back over 300 on the season, and he's looking to be that Giant all-star, no doubt.
Yeah, and he's a fellow Virgo, September 7, 99. So, yes, wow. He's a youngin', but he was really good with just channeling that over-the-shoulder famous catch.
Excellent.
That was beautiful, and he talked about it on the post-game. It was really meaningful to him. Chapman, 2 for 4, the home run. Oh, and you're a pitcher, Spencer Howard.
There you go, well. Star of the game. He's my winner. He is my MVP of the night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he deserves it.
Oh, hell yeah. 4 2/3, 4 hits on a night when the bullpen was just going up and down, up and down. Luke Jackson just didn't have it. Spencer Howard came in, calmed the waters, calmed the offense, got the offense back in the game. No doubt. 8 strikeouts, 4 2/3. He pitched really well tonight.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's July 28th, 1996. So
excellent.
That was really nice to see. I mean, it was just totally a team effort, and that was the most exciting walk-off walk I've ever seen in my entire life in baseball history, and that says a lot.
That's great, Andrea. I'll let you go, Andrea. I got a full board. It's great talking to you once again. Have a great rest of the night, Andrea.
You too, Bill. Thanks for your show. Take care.
All right. Thanks so much, Andrea. Let's go out to Lincoln and talk to Doug. Doug, you're on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky on a Monday. How are you?
Good, Bill. Thanks for taking my call. We're traveling back from the game with some friends, and it was a great night seeing the number 24 on the jerseys again. I agreed with your last few callers on that. That was really special.
How emotional was that ninth inning for you, Doug? How exciting did it get to it when Estrada laid the bunt down? It was first and third, nobody out. Were you sitting on the edge of the seat going, these guys are going to somehow tie this game?
I was standing.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. When they had that open base for Ramos, I thought they were probably going to walk him, and then we ended up getting the walk to walk it off. That was good. But I also wanted to ask you, I didn't catch the misstep on Ramos that you did. I was kind of watching the flight of the ball, but what a difference between Ramos' speed and the ball that Slater went after a couple innings before. I didn't think he hustled after it.
Yeah, the Crow Armstrong. That ball was a tough ball, but then you got to look at the ball he caught off Happ in the seventh inning, caught it and went into the net. I thought he really played a great ball in that one going down the right field line. Yeah, I thought the same thing with Slater. I think he might have misjudged it because he didn't really jump on it too quick and it sailed over his head. But then again, you look at it as the bats too. He went 0 for 4 with 3 punch-outs, and here he comes in the ninth inning. And I was wondering if Bob Melvin was going to pinch hit for him. I was wondering, okay, it's a left-hander throwing, Smiley. Yeah. I was just wondering if he was going to do it. He left him in there, and he really kind of tomahawked it. He kind of got under the ball and smoked it out to center field. But you know what? He drove him in a sac fly to tie the game, and I thought that was really rewarding for what Austin Slater went through for his first 4 at-bats.
Yeah. I think it's going to be difficult, too, when Lee does come back the way Ramos is playing. Ramos almost deserves to be in center field. Where do you put Lee, or do you put?
Well, you got all the rest of this year. You got spring training to figure it out. I don't think anybody's going to worry about that right now. I think right now Elliot Ramos is playing a solid center field. Just like I said, everybody thought he was a corner outfielder. The speed, the arm, he's got a great arm, and just how relaxed he is. He's confident out there, and I think that's a big plus.
It sure is. And I got a Willie Mays story for you. So I'm 60. I got to see him play in the Giants uniform a couple times live, and, of course, just amazed by what he could do. But he came back in a New York Mets uniform, and I went to a game. And the first pitch, he batted in the 7th. I think he pinch hit. And the first pitch was inside, and it wasn't a purposeful brush back, but it came inside. And the whole Candlestick crowd booed the Giants pitcher for pitching inside. And then he walked, and they booed him. And I had never heard a Giants, crowd boo the Giants team, but that was the only time I ever heard that.
They probably wanted him to hit a home run. They were booing him because they wanted to see Willie play. They didn't want to walk him.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was really fitting how Kipe said, Willie Mays was a Met. We forgot he was a Met. We don't think he's a New York Met. We believe he's a San Francisco Giant, and I think that's what all Giants fans, and if you look at the baseball world today, if you looked at everywhere in the United States and you asked them Willie Mays, I bet you pretty much 90 or maybe even more than 90% would say he's a Giant, because that's kind of where he made his mark out here, and no doubt about it, every Giants fan knows he was our hero. He was a superstar. He was that guy, the legend,
Yeah, one more thing before I'll sign off. But it was nice to not see the last names of the players on the jerseys tonight, too. Before the Giants didn't used to do that. And,
I remember that.
A nice
sure.
Tribute to Mays again. You always knew who 24 was, but tonight out in the bullpen, there were some times I thought, who is that warming up? Because there was, just no names on the uniforms. It was kind of special.
That's a good point. That's a great point, Doug. Thank you so much. But that's a great point Doug brought. They have the names on the jerseys now. They changed that a few years ago. If you remember back in Candlestick Day, we never had names on our jerseys. There was times I think we did, but there was other times we didn't. And a lot of that was to know the roster, know the team, and that's kind of got your fans involved in it. But everything's turned now to a name on the back, which is fine. But I think he's right. I think Doug's 100% right. To see the number 24 with no name on the back and everybody knowing it at Oracle Park and watching the game wherever you're watching, today was Willie Mays night, no doubt about it. I loved how the statue was decorated with all the flowers and all the memories fans brought out there. And if you saw different shots, fans were just standing out there looking at the statue and maybe praying to the upper powers of Willie Mays and making sure he's safe. But at the same time, the memories come back to all of us, all the different things we remember about Willie Mays on and off the field. If you got to meet him, I know we did as players. We got to meet him and talk to him several times, and he was always a genuine man. He was always happy. And like I always said, he always wanted to know about you and not him, and that's the great things that I remember about Willie Mays. All right, let's go back to the phone lines, 808 KNBR. Let's go to San Francisco. Talk to my buddy Mike. Mike, that magic came today.
Certainly did. The spirit of Mays was our. He guided us tonight. That's for certain.
Well, you know, the last couple of nights has been difficult to do post-game shows of the defense, the offense, the stolen bases. Today, you're just wondering if they had anything left in them. Mike, I know you and I talked several times, and today it was similar to what we saw yesterday against Sonny Gray. I mean, they just couldn't muster a base hit. Ramos gets a base hit. We didn't see anything for 4 innings. And sure enough, maybe this is a spark the offense needed, Mike. Maybe this is something that excites them to move on, and they got 3 more against the Cubs. Hopefully they can do something here.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you. Just want to share my experience with you. The 4th inning rolled around, and I blew up. I just got so frustrated, and I reached out to one of the people on the message board there we use, and just kind of opened up to her about it. And I went from irate to my John Denver side of me.
John Denver.
I just felt
Rocky Mountain High. Is that what you're talking about, Mike?
For sure. Something like that.
I got you.
but I just felt at the end of the game like, you know, you just.
It was surreal, wasn't it, Mike? It was surreal. That's the moment. That's what you felt. It was a surreal moment when they were all running out there. Because I kept saying, how are they going to walk this thing off? Because I was thinking before that happened, with all the number 24s jumping around in the middle of the field, and when it happened, I was like, wow, that's a surreal feeling that is just so right there in the emotion of the whole night and in excelling to win the game on a walk-off walk. But it was just so planned. It was like it was etched in our minds that this was going to happen, and it did. And just the magic of it happening. That's why when I was asking fans earlier, if you're at the game, how magical was that? Because to me, that was a magical night to come true for a win.
I watched a show last night, and it was about spiritual stuff. It was a Marvel comic show. But they were saying the ancestors of a woman were telling the woman through the spirit world or whatnot that they'd be there for her when they needed her, when she needed them most. And tonight, it just felt like
that was
once Tyro Estrada laid down that bunt, or once Austin Slater jumped into the fence, it just all came together like that.
It was adding up, sure. And, Mike, you and I have talked several times about how they've been coming back this year. The last couple innings, it seems like they always spark something to get a couple runs, get some magical hits, and get it going. Tonight, I just felt once they got 2nd and 3rd in the 8th, I'm like, okay, bloop one in here, get a hit, knock a ball in to tie the game up. And then when you got a strikeout by Flores on a great pitch, it was slider down and in, and then the fly ball to Soler, and then I was just sitting, okay, how is this team going to come back and score 2 to tie it in the bottom of the 9th? And I knew who was up. I keep a scoreboard, no doubt. But when Chapman hit that ball, I knew it was a bloop. And, man, he almost caught that ball. Crow Armstrong came in close. I mean, he almost caught that ball.
That got too close for comfort for me, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I just...
It was good. Good time, though, Mike, wasn't it? It was just a surreal moment, and I think you're right there with me.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to let you go.
Mike, I appreciate the call. It's always great catching up with you, my friend. Take care of yourself.
One thing before I go.
Yep, fire away.
I got one little thing I want to add for the group on YouTube chat. We did a poll this morning, and we all threw out some names. We all thought the Oracle Park should be renamed after Willie Mays somehow tonight. So the winner of that poll was 1 second. It'll say Hayfields.
There you go. All right, Mike, I'll leave you with that. Have a great night. I appreciate it. We got to take a quick break on Sports Phone KNBR. Got a few callers left. Got Javon and Mark. We'll get back to you, and then I got to get to Alex Simon, so we're going to take a quick break. My name's Bill Lasky. This is Sports Phone KNBR. It's Monday, June 24th. Think about that, number 24. We'll be right back.
Sound off on the sports leader. Sports phone KNBR keeps rolling right here and on the all-new KNBR app.
That's exactly what I said to him when he came in the dugout. I said, did that play or the inning before inspire you for that? Because it looked pretty similar. But he's been really inspired by Willie and getting to play center field and do what he's doing and get to wear number 24 tonight. I think it was kind of apropos he made a play like that.
All right, back on Sports Phone KNBR on Monday. It is June 24, 2024. The Giants, of course, honored Willie Mays today before the game. The number 24 sketched in the outfield and center field. And, of course, the logo of him behind home plate with the swing. Everyone wearing number 24. The magic happened in the bottom of the ninth as the Giants scored 3 and win the game with a walk-off walk as they beat the Cubs 5-4. Both teams with that win are now, both of them are 37 and 42. Let's get back to the phone lines real quick here. Let's go to Santa Cruz and talk to Javon. Javon, you're on Sports Phone on a Monday with Bill. How are you?
Hi, Bill.
How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I couldn't do any better on this special Monday. What a special day. And, I mean, I'm just like a little overwhelmed from this week. I mean,
did you get to watch the celebration before the game? Did you get to watch Dave Fleming, Kruk, and Kipe? And did you get to see the scoreboard that John Miller did with the Willie Mays video? Did you get to have some time to watch all that?
I saw all that. I wasn't
Beautiful.
at the game, but I saw all that. I mean, from start to finish, what a special day. And first of all, I want to say thank you for all that you do, Bill. I mean, you're so valuable to, you know, to all the Bay Area. Like, I mean, you really bring such a like rich perspective like on Giants baseball, and we all appreciate it. I mean, it really does help out a lot.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate those words.
When, you know, Giants sometimes you're welcome, but you know, it's been a tough week for Giants baseball. But listening to you, as I always do when I'm on the road, I drive, down Highway 101, and I'd love to listen to you. Like when I'm driving, I'm like, geez, like it's my favorite. So I just want to say thank you, and what a special day.
It sure was. And it's an emotional day, and we should all feel emotional about it. You know, this is just the tip of the iceberg to celebrate a life of a legend. And, you know, when you think Giants, of course, you think Willie Mays, you think Willie McCovey, you think of all the 5 Hall of Famers, and they all had special moments in the Giants' life. But number 24, I'm sorry, is way up top. It's on the top. And to see all the magic that came out today, to see the players all wear number 24. You heard Bob Melvin talk about Elliot Ramos. And Elliot Ramos in Alabama, he was thrilled to play center field where Willie did it when he was 16 years old. And that's the kind of emotion that you want Elliot Ramos to have, to get that fulfilling atmosphere and to feel that emotion. And he's going to be a superstar. We're watching it come in front of our eyes.
Absolutely. It's I mean, we go through a week-long, struggle, but there's a lot of positives, and Elliot Ramos, I mean, gave us that moment.
Well, Javon, you've listened to me for 3 years now. After they won 107 games, and the next year I wanted him up. I wanted him to get an opportunity. Sure, they brought him up, and they brought him on a yo-yo, and mentally it fatigued him. Yeah, you remember me talking about it.
You had that conviction that he was like gonna be it, and trust me, I kind of doubted you sometimes. I was like, I wanted more superstars, and I'm like, Elliot Ramos. I mean,
I had people question me. There was no doubt. They questioned me, saying, no, he's just going to be a fly-by-the-night. But, the thing that I saw about him was he signed at 17 years old, and as many times as he was up and down, there was possibilities. I'm just like, he's still young. He's still a young kid. He's only 24 now. So just think when he was 21, 22, 23, going up and down, I saw something in him. I saw some of the things that makes good outfielders. And he was that kind of guy. He was that guy that was grinding too much. He needed to relax. And once he's relaxed now, the confidence is up to a top.
That was amazing. I mean, your vision is amazing. I mean, like, when I heard that, like, last year and the year before that, I was like, Bill, come on, like, we need more superstars. I mean, like, but you were like, no, this guy is.
I said it many times, Javon. You heard me, but listen, buddy, I give me something quick here because I got a couple more calls, and I'd love to talk to you on weekends, though, bud.
I'll call in, but just something really cool. We're all at the bar restaurant, and like it was like we're all watching the game, and ninth inning, we all throw our rally cap on.
Good.
It was like kind of cool, but after the win, I've had this hat for 2 to 3 years now, and like I never really wore it until today. Like today, I decided to wear it, and after the win, guess what, Bill? I noticed it has a Willie Mays patch on it.
Wow.
With him, number 24.
Cool.
And
Very
that was
cool.
After the win. Like, I've had this hat for 3 years.
And you never even noticed it.
I never noticed it.
There you go. Javon, man, I'm telling you, emotion, spirit, it's all there, my friend, and we're Giants fans, and we felt it tonight. And he made that magic come, and we are all listening to it. We're all loving it. And you know what? It's sincere, Javon. But thanks for the call. It's great catching up with you again, my friend. Take care, okay?
Thanks, Bill. Talk to you soon.
Yep. Let's go to Mark in Santa Cruz. Mark, you're on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill. How are you, bud?
Well, good evening, Bill. I want to say something to Javon. Check your wallet. You might have a lotto ticket that's good in there.
That's even better. Hey, Javon, take a look at that wallet, man. If you got a lottery number, shoot it my way. I'll take it from you.
There you go. Hey, Bill,
what do you need, Mark? What do you got for me, buddy?
I'm here in Santa Cruz in the Redwoods, and it was a lovely evening to stay home and watch a game, which is nice. We had no wind, no rain.
Beautiful. Did you watch the celebration before the game?
I sure did. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's even better.
I grew up in San Francisco, Bill.
Oh, then you got it.
Yeah. It was wonderful. Yeah, I went to school with Fred Browning.
Oh, beautiful. Freddie, the forker, the fork baller.
Good guy, exactly. Good guy.
Oh, real nice. Good friend, good teammate. I've known Freddie for a long time. I've known his family for a long time. And, yep, he was a San Francisco native. That's what was great about having him on the team.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And he can hardly break a window sometimes in high school, but by the time he got to be a grown man, he could throw the baseball.
Give me a Willie Mays story for me, Mark. Give me something from you.
Well, okay, go ahead. Willie Mays, the first time I saw him playing, I believe it was 59 or 60. And actually it was 64. So it was 64. I went to that game, and then I went immediately from there to a thing called what was the name of that? It was.
That's okay. You got to see him play, though, Mark. You got to see him play, and I think that was the magic that you remember, for sure. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the call, Mark. I gotta run. I got a couple more to get to. But Mark, thanks for the call. Give us a call later on. I appreciate it. Let's go out to Berkeley and talk to Avi, I do believe. I might be saying the name wrong, but you're on Sports Phone KNBR.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing good. What is your first name? I'm sorry. I might have missaid it.
It's Avi. That's okay.
Okay. Great. No, I want to make sure I'm right, Avi. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill. Hey, when you're talking about the magic, I'm not a mystical person, generally speaking, but there was a lot of mysticism to this. About 4 days ago, I drove out to Vegas all the way through, left a cool, comfortable Bay Area to go into 5 days of sweltering 114 degree heat to see Dead and Company at the Sphere. And you can imagine, okay, so I'm in a different frame of mind, but I hear on Sunday, as I'm about to head down to visit friends in L.A., that they're going to do a tribute up here. So I decided, rather than going through L.A., that I'd jam back through the desert and come up and go to the game today. So as soon as I get to the game, straight off the road from Las Vegas, it's down into the 70s. It's feeling fantastic. I go in, I take a look, I see the pregame festivities. It's just so moving. It's amazing. Right. But I've gotten the feeling while I'm on the road yesterday listening to the 5th of the 5 consecutive losses that the team is in mourning. You know, it's natural. It's a 6-day progression of going from the usual frame of things. And then you've got to take the time to mourn. But then at a certain point, and I believe that Dave announced Willie's passing in the 5th inning 6 days ago. 4
Tuesday.
2, 6 days ago on Tuesday. The 5th inning today, I think Willie came down, and Kruk made a comment related to this, came down and said, you guys, would you just quit mulling over this stuff and just go play some ball?
And that's when Chapman hit his home run in the 5th.
It's exactly when he hit it. So what I was seeing, and I was at the ballpark, it was freezing cold. It was like being at a night at Candlestick.
Well, you were just in Vegas, too. Come on.
Just in Vegas. We won't talk about that. But I'm watching Willie invest himself into every number 24 on the field. Number 24 hits a home run out. In the next inning, number 24 knocks out another homer. The next inning, number 24 makes a leaping grab against the fence in right field. Then he makes an over-the-shoulder catch in center field. You can name the players the way they are today, but every single one of them was number 24 hustling out a double, number 24 bunting it down the third baseline, number 24 drawing a walk, number 20,
I love this.
Everything straight through.
I love this. That's great.
The field and investing their body. It was such a moving experience.
And then when they all piled on each other on the infield, they were all number 24s. That was awesome. Oh, that's great. That's a great call right there. That's a good one to end it. But I appreciate your time today. And call in more. I'd love to talk more baseball with you. But great call right there. I love it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Coming back with Alex Simon as he wrote an article today in the SF Gate about something we're going to talk about. So you'll have to wait. And we're going to have that right on next, right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
Speak your mind on the sports leader. Sports Phone KNBR keeps coming at you. Streaming live at twitch.tv/the sports leader.
You made a Willie Mays style catch tonight.
Not even close.
Did you think about it at all when you made that catch?
I mean, it was fun for sure. I mean, I always dream of making a catch like that, of course.
All right, back on Sports Phone KNBR. Dave Fleming talking to Elliot Ramos about the catch over his shoulder. Was a great catch. And everything turned 24 today as the Giants pull out a win. They get score 3 in the bottom of the 9th inning on a walk-off walk to Wilmer Flores, and they win the game 5-4. Just a magical night at Oracle. Now I get to talk with my buddy, Alex Simon. Of course, he is the sports editor at SF Gate. Let's bring in Alex. Alex, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well, Bill. It's hard, to not get romantic about baseball after a night like tonight because, my goodness, some things just make you believe that the baseball gods exist and that they were looking down on the Giants tonight.
Well, Alex, you've been around baseball all your life as well as me, and those are emotions, baby. Those are emotions we can't throw away. It started in beginning before the game when they celebrated Willie Mays on a celebration, and John Miller being the John Miller, the Hall of Famer, how he spoke on that video on Willie Mays on the scoreboard, and they flashed to the people standing, and Barry Bonds was wiping tears out of his eyes, and I just would love to have asked him what he was thinking about. What did you think about that?
And I hate to say this in this way, but that is the same video I believe I had seen the Giants put out when Willie passed last week. So I had seen it, but it still hits different. And I imagine if you're in the ballpark watching that video and seeing his family there, seeing his godson there and Barry, that just makes it land with that much more impact. And I think, the beauty, and I've said this actually on KNBR, the beauty about what the Giants have done is that they didn't wait until Willie passed to honor him as fully and as completely as they have. The ballpark is literally on 24 Willie Mays Plaza. There's the statue there. Willie got to see all of these things and feel his impact that tangibly and that thoroughly in his life, where, yes, it is extremely sad that he is no longer with us, but he lived quite the full life, and to kind of see the impact that he's had, even for people who didn't get to see him play almost at all, if ever, I think that's the thing that his family and those close to him can kind of take out of this last week, is seeing that impact fully. And to kind of see that happen today in that way, I'm hoping it meant a lot to them because it clearly meant a lot to Giants fans.
That voice you hear on Sports Phone KNBR is the sports editor of SF Gate, Alex Simon, good friend of mine. And Alex, they came off this road trip 1-5 with a 5-game losing streak. There was no punch in the lineup. The pitching was terrible. They were having everybody stealing bags, 85 stolen bases. Everything was going downhill until they stepped on that field today. What did you think of that road trip?
It certainly left a lot to be desired, to put it very mildly. Now, look, the one thing is they were not getting blown out pretty much at all in that road trip. They were playing some pretty close baseball games. Both of their one win and then really their other close competitive games included quite a few come-from-behind efforts that at least made you think, all right, they're close. Maybe the Saturday game was the only one that kind of got away, but for the most part, they were battling. Tonight was kind of shaping up to be a similar field towards the end of the game where, all right, well, this team's close. We know that they can fight and make it interesting, but they're clearly not there. They keep falling behind, Bill, early in games. Their offense can't seem to do anything the first time through the lineup. They're starting pitching and whatever you call starting pitching when you have to do 3 bullpen games a week right now, they're struggling clearly. And I think, there's obviously some health concerns with this team, but the one thing you can give them credit for, and you can totally and completely do it after tonight, is that this offense does seem to be able to grind out at bats and battle late in games to create some action when the going gets tough.
Oh, no question about that, Alex. No question about that. And they've been doing that a lot coming back, but they just fell short a few times on this road trip. They didn't play good baseball. And yesterday, watching the game, they were talking about Blake Snell, Robbie Ray, Lamont Wade Jr. in Sacramento playing for the River Cats. Blake Snell did not have a good outing, only lasted an inning and 2/3. Came out with some remarks today, and of course Bob Melvin talked about it before the game in the pregame. And you yourself wrote an article on SF Gate about this situation. Could you talk a little bit about your article, please?
Yeah, I mean, look, I was not there in Sacramento, but there was 2 beat reporters from the Chronicle and from The Athletic who were. And after Snell's pretty rough outing, he made it pretty clear that he didn't feel like he was physically ready to come back to pitch. But that, one of his comments, and I don't have it immediately in front of me, but if you give me a second here as I vamp, I should be able to grab it. It was pretty obvious that he feels like he's getting a little bit of pressure internally to get back onto the big league roster. His direct quote, now that I did get it pulled up, is, "I haven't felt like me yet. It's, all right, come on, we need you, we need you, we need you. It's not like, let's get him right, and then I have to deal with it." That's a guy who's obviously frustrated because, look, I don't think Blake Snell wants to get to July having only made 6 MLB starts. Nobody wanted that. But clearly he understands what this team's needs are, and so he's probably got internal pressure, let alone external pressure, to try and get back and help the big league roster. But if the Giants are in any way doing that, it certainly is not setting up to be a match made in heaven. And if anything, Bill, you could almost say this is a match made in hell so far between the Giants and this.
Well, one of the points, I just want to throw a point in here, Alex, and Blake Snell needs to kind of wake up here. He was the one that waited so long all the way through spring training. He was the one with Scott Boras waiting for the right opportunity. He could have jumped in there earlier. He could have jumped in and took a little less money. He could have come into spring training. But when you're blaming spring training, and that's what he's done here in the last couple post games, saying, I need spring training. That's a big point I've missed. Well, if you know that, then maybe you should have changed, because now I'm telling you, and you know this, general managers or president of baseball operations, if a pitcher's not signed before spring training, I don't think you're going to get anybody wanting to even sign them. Montgomery's struggling big time in Arizona, and we haven't seen anything positive in Blake Snell. We've seen tidbits of it, real small bits of it. We have not seen it in length yet.
Yeah, I mean, certainly hindsight is 20/20. I think if Blake knew how rough it would be to ramp up on such short notice, I'm not sure he would have waited as long, especially if this was the type of deal that was available to him a little sooner that he maybe wasn't ready to accept until mid-March. I will say the one caveat to that thought of small sample size, Michael Lorenzen also didn't sign until extremely late, and he's been very solid actually for the Texas Rangers this year.
Good point.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of takeaway we can go. But it's certainly, within an individual pitcher, this is kind of the risk the Giants signed up for, frankly, when they signed Snell, because this is a guy who, we all assumed if he has a really great start, and he could still have, 10 great starts at the end of the season, opt out and go get big money again. But the Giants are now on the hook for $31 million for next year with a guy who seems pretty disgruntled during his time here in San Francisco. And for both sides, we're going to get past the halfway point here by the end of this Cubs series. And Snell has only started 6 games this season. He's pitched 23 2/3 innings. It's obvious that, among the many flaws and issues the Giants have had, having that much money tied up in a player who just hasn't been able to pitch well when he's pitched at all is probably the largest concern for the Giants.
So, Alex, do you give him that rope? Do you give him that opportunity to have 2 more starts, 3 more starts in the minor leagues? Do you give him that opportunity to say, tell us when you're ready then?
Well, let me put it this way, Bill. Blake Snell historically has beaten no team more thoroughly and more soundly than he has the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Correct.
And they've already said that he's going to make a rehab start with AAA on Friday when he otherwise could have been lined up to face the Dodgers. So that means now the Giants.
That's kind of what I was thinking too on Sunday when he was pitching Sunday. I was thinking the same thing, because you got Hicks Thursday and Webb would have been Saturday. It would have been a good knockout punch right there, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
Well, and more to the point, Bill, even if Webb went Friday and you gave Snell the extra day, the Giants will have now faced the Dodgers for the 3rd time out of the 4 series they played this season. And the guy who they signed, who was supposed to be a Dodger killer when they signed him, will have now missed all 3 of the first 3 series and will need to be back by the first week after the All-Star break to get even 1 start against the Dodgers this season. I mean, if the Giants wanted to contend, they probably understood when they signed Snell he was going to miss the first one, given the fact that it was the first week of the season and he was ramping up late. But I don't think the Giants probably signed Snell if they find out that he was going to miss the 2nd and the 3rd series like he has now with both of them, as he set up to do. I frankly think that that's a major blow to the whole idea of Snell being on this team. If he can't go against the guys in your division that you know that you need to at least show some decent face against, what's the point in having him?
Well, and then you saw all the points that he threw 95 miles an hour in Sacramento, and his thought was, I didn't throw 95. I didn't feel it coming out of my hand good enough. I had a good breaking ball. I didn't think it was a good breaking ball. He was like second-guessing what he did. And to me, it's just so no confidence in what you're throwing. And sure, you and I both know, as well as all the fans know, the injuries that he has been plagued with. He hasn't said anything about that, so maybe that's a good point. I liked what Bob Melvin said. Look, we've calmed him down. We know what we want out of him. He's just got to approach it and let him take these baby steps to get going. But my goodness, you're spending $32 million for this guy that, in my mind, is making a lot of excuses. And if I'm kicking him in the rear and getting him out there, then get out there and throw, my friend. Get out there and bust your tail.
Well, I do think there's a little bit of skepticism, though, Bill, because of the fact that they effectively did that exact thing the first time. And I think it went so horribly wrong before he had his adductor strain, the first injury, that I think there's a little bit of skittishness, possibly on both sides, but definitely on Blake's side. Because, look, you make these rehab starts in the minors if you're not 100%. Nobody's going to care about the stats for it. But the ones that you make when you just do it in the big leagues, even if you only have 70 pitchers or whatever, those stats are permanent at that point.
That's right.
Everybody's going to be aware of that, and that's what's got him with the nice little goose egg. And
Alex, did you see anything good out of him when he came to the big leagues? Did you see a promising Blake Snell? Did you see anything where you said, wow, this is the guy that won 2 Cy Youngs? I saw a little bit, but I didn't see it for long.
Well, I actually, funny enough, was there when he pitched against the Phillies on Memorial Day and thought that he actually looked really fantastic for 2 innings. And then when 1 inning went sideways, it kind of derailed everything. And I think that's kind of the Blake Snell MO when you've looked at what he's done with other teams, is that, he's not necessarily a guy that you think is going to even give you 6 innings a lot of the time. So far, he hasn't completed 5 full innings at the big league level. But,
well, and the other thing, too, Alex, you give him that opening because we've heard how he starts April, May, and June. He's a slow starter. Then he ramps up the second half of the year. And I think that's what Giants fans, as well as myself, going, okay, let's ramp up for after the All-Star game. Let's see the Blake Snell that's got 2 Cy Young awards on his mantle.
I mean, I certainly think that that's got to be the only hope and prayer the Giants have at this point. I think you can also look at things in this way. We're about to hit July 1 here, and you'll likely have 12 different Giants pitchers, maybe even 13, who have thrown more innings than Blake Snell.
We're signing your dad tomorrow. Your dad's coming in to throw a few innings tomorrow. You know that.
I don't know if the league's ready for his knuckleball, but we'll see.
That's it. Alex, thanks for your time tonight, my friend. It's always great catching up. And please get on SF Gate and read the material Alex writes. It's sensational. But thanks again for your time, Alex. Appreciate it.
Anytime, Bill.
Alex Simon, of course, he's a sports editor at SF Gate, does a great job. He's got some great writers below him writing great articles, and they cover everything. But I really appreciate his time tonight. All right, we're going to call it a night. Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky will be back on Wednesday and Friday this week. And, of course, extra innings will follow up on Saturday and Sunday. I do want to thank Alex Simon for jumping on with me. I want to thank all the great calls and all the great stories about Willie Mays. We'll do it again Wednesday when I'm back on KNBR, and we'll continue to do it. No phone call about Willie Mays will never be hung up on my watch. So it was a great night. I appreciate it. Good magic at the ballpark as the Giants win 5-4. I want to thank my producer tonight, Cole Lippelt. I knew I'd get it right, Cole. I got it. And, of course, Overnight Dave for picking up the calls. Great night. Giants win 5-4. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.